Hi guys, this is IGCSE O-Level Chemistry, paper 22, Extended MCQs, March 2022, question 1. Which gas has the fastest rate of diffusion? So here we have not been given any temperature or any other details. So the rate of diffusion would depend on the lowest MR. Whichever gas has the lowest MR will be the fastest one to diffuse. So the first gas is hydrogen. So hydrogen atom has an AR value of 1. Therefore, the MR of hydrogen gas would be 2. And the next one is CH4. So in CH4, we have got one carbon atom and we have got four hydrogen atoms. So that would be 12 plus 4 giving us an MR value of 16. Next we have CO2. CO2 having one carbon and two oxygen atoms would give us an MR value of 12 plus 32, 44. And SO2 having sulfur and two oxygen will give us an MR value of 32 plus 32, 64. So the gas with the lowest MR is hydrogen, making option A the correct option for this question. Question 2. In which state does 1 dm cube of methane contain the most particles? So if we have this gas at 100 degrees Celsius, the particles would be further apart. So the number of particles in 1 dm cube of the gas would be very less compared to the next option, which is gas at room temperature. Since the temperature is lower, the kinetic energy possessed by the molecules would be lesser. So the molecules will be relatively closer together. So more molecules in the gas state at room temperature than in the gaseous state at 100 degrees Celsius. The next state is the liquid state in which the particles are even closer together in the form of a liquid. So there would be more particles per dm cube of the liquid. And if we have 1 dm cube as the volume of a solid, the molecules in a solid are very closely packed together. So there would be the greatest number of methane gas molecules or particles in in the solid state as compared to the liquid or the gaseous state. Therefore, option D is the correct option for this question. Question 3. Which statement explains why isotopes of the same element have the same chemical properties? They have the same electronic structure. Yes, because isotopes are rather atoms of the same element which have the same number of electrons and protons, which means they've got the same electronic structure. They have the same relative mass. No, their masses are different because their nuclear numbers are different. They have the same nuclear number. No, they have different nuclear number. They have the same proton number. They don't have the same proton. They have the same number of protons. They don't have the same proton number. So option A is the correct option for this question. Question 4. The electronic structures of atoms P and Q are shown. P and Q form an ionic compound. What is the formula of the compound? Okay, so P has got total of 6 outer electrons in its outermost shell, and Q has got only 1 electron in its outermost shell. Therefore, P needs to gain 2 electrons and Q needs to lose 1 electron in order to attain a noble gas configuration. So, 2 atoms of Q will react with 1 atom of P, forming ionic bonds. So, P will form a compound with a 2 negative charge, and 2 Qs will form an ion with a positive charge each. So Q2P should be the compound that is formed. So the options are PQ no, P2Q no, P2Q3 no, PQ2 yes. Q2P can also be written as PQ2. Therefore, option D is the correct option for this question. Question 5. Fermentation of sugar produces a mixture of ethanol solution and solid yeast. How is the solid yeast removed from the mixture? So if it is an ethanol solution, that means it is dissolved and the yeast is solid. So we can easily remove it by filtration. Separation of a solid and a liquid is done through filtration. So crystallization, no. Distillation, no. Filtration, yes. Fractional distillation, no. This makes option C the correct option for this question. Question 6. Which row explains why copper is a good conductor of electricity at room temperature? Copper ions move freely? No, the copper ions are not moving because if it is conducting electricity in the metallic state, there are no copper ions present. So option A and B states no, and C and D get eliminated for stating yes. Next, electrons move freely. Yes, electrons in a metallic lattice will move freely, eliminating option A and making option B the correct option for this question. Question 7. Which pair of statements about diamond and graphite is correct? Diamond and graphite are both pure carbon. Yes, they are allotropes of carbon. They are both macromolecules. Yes, they are both macromolecules. This is correct. Diamond and graphite can both be used as electrodes. No, diamond cannot be used as an electrode. Graphite can. Graphite is also used as a lubricant. Yes, this statement is correct. But diamond being used as an electrode make this option incorrect. Diamond has covalent bonds. Yes. Graphite has ionic bonds. No, it also has covalent bonds. Diamond is hard with a high melting point. True. Graphite is soft with a low melting point. No, it is soft with a high melting point because it is a macromolecule. Therefore, option A is the correct option for this question. Question 8. Sodium nitrite contains the nitride ion N3 negative. Sodium nitrite is unstable and decomposes into its elements. What is the equation for the decomposition of sodium nitrite? So when sodium nitrite would decompose into its elements, we would have nitrogen gas forming, that would be N2. And since sodium nitrite contains one nitrogen ion, we would need at least 2 moles of Na3N. So this would produce 1 mole of nitrogen gas and 6 moles of sodium atoms because sodium is a monoatomic element. So this should be the correct equation for the decomposition of sodium nitrite. So let's match this with the given options. In option A, we've got 2Na and 3 gives 2Na and 3N2. No, incorrect. The molar balancing is incorrect. 2Na3N gives 6 sodium and N2. This is matching what we just made. 2Na and 3 gives Na2. No, sodium is not a diatomic element. And the last one, 2Na3N gives 6 sodium and 2 nitrogen atoms. No, nitrogen is a diatomic gas. It will not form nitrogen atoms. It will form a molecule of nitrogen. So this makes option B the correct option for this question. Question 9. Compound X contains carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen only. By mass, it contains 26.7% carbon and 2.2% hydrogen. What is the empirical formula of X? Okay, so now we will calculate the empirical formula. So the elements we have are carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So the percentage of carbon is 26.7. The percentage of hydrogen is 2.2. Now we will calculate the percentage of oxygen, which would be 100% minus 26.7 and also minus 2.2. We will end up with 71.1. The next step would be to divide each of these percentages by the AR of the compound. So we would divide 26.7 by 12, 2.2 by 1, and 71.1 by 16. So dividing 26.7 by 12 gives us a value of 2.225. Dividing 2.2 by 1 gives us a value of 2.2. And dividing 71.1 by 16 would give us a value of 4.44375. So the smallest out of all of these three would be 2.2. So we would divide each of these by 2.2, giving us a value of 1 is to 1 is to 2. This is the ratio of carbon is to hydrogen is to oxygen. So that would make the empirical formula CHO2, because there is one atom of carbon in the empirical formula, one atom of hydrogen in the empirical formula, and two atoms of oxygen in the empirical formula. So this makes option D the correct option for this question. Question 10. Cesium fluoride is an ionic compound. Which statement about cesium fluoride are correct? It conducts electricity when solid. An ionic compound will only conduct electricity when it is molten or in the aqueous state, not in the solid state. It has a high melting point. Yes, ionic compounds have high melting points. It is soluble in water. Yes, cesium fluoride would be soluble in water. It is highly volatile. No, it is a solid. It will not be highly volatile. Therefore, since statements 2 and 3 are correct, option C is the correct option for this question.